Well, good morning, my Patreon friends. Get yourself some coffee. Let's sit around the camp here. It's Sunday morning. We can't hunt in the state of Maine on Sundays. So, that means coffee time. I sat in the tree stand for the last 3 days. That's about enough. I enjoyed every minute of it, with the exception of the high temperatures. It has been 70 to 80 degrees for the last 4 days. Bright blue sky with lots and lots of sun. Thank goodness I was sitting in a hunt shack with a roof on it. Otherwise than that, I would be toasted like a toasted marshmallow. So anyways, but nothing moved. I got game cameras on that stand. I'm very pleased with what the game camera is picking up. As you all know, I only built that stand less than 3 weeks ago. And I also cut out the shooting lanes probably 2 weeks ago now. Now I didn't cut a lot where I expect him to come from. I like to see little bits and pieces of the deer coming through the woods until he gets to my shooting lane. I think that helps me in not getting busted by only being able to see bits and pieces of the deer coming through until he reaches shooting lane. And that way I can keep track of him, and then once he hits the shooting lane, then I can do my best shot. But anyways, that being said, the camera picked up 18 deer since I set the camera out. And the camera's only been out for 2 weeks. I put the camera out the same time that I cut the shooting lanes. So, and I've got deer there in the night. I got deer there at noontime, 11:30 area. I had a buck come through within, the buck would have been a crazy close shot. It was, the buck came through the day before the season opened up. So that means the camera was only up for a week. The shooting lanes were only in for a week, as well as the tree stand had only been in at that point only 2 weeks. So that's got me thinking that hunt shack isn't really going to bother them too awful much. Now the reason that I think the hunt shack doesn't bother them too awful much is because of all the fir trees that I built these hunt shacks in. So at eye level where the deer is, he's still in his fir tree cover. You know, as far as I'm concerned, happy as a clam. That's what I've noticed over the years of me building these brush piles and building in fir trees. That's the kind of stuff that I've noticed anyways. But that's not really what I would talking deer and all that, because we're at deer stand. I mean, we're at deer camp. I'm going home today. I got a couple chores to do today, and then I'm going home. I'll be home for a couple of days, and then I am headed up to the Rustic log cabin towards the end of the week. I'll be up there for a week at that point. I'm going up. I got a tree stand up there that I like to sit in. I've shot deer out of it, and I've shot bear out of it. So, and it's on the way to a good feeding ground. So hopefully we'll go up there and see what happens. I've got a neighbor up there that I'm pretty good friends with. He's he loves big deer, and he's game camera enthusiast. He's got cameras out, and last I talked to him, he's seen 4 bucks and 1 bear. Quarter of a mile from where my stand is. I know where he set the camera up. So, hey, all it takes is 1. So, my plan is to go up there and hunt. Hopefully the temperature will be cooler up there. Winter will get here eventually, but not right now, I guess. But I'm going to take this camera down, and I'm going to show you what's on the project today. I had 2 fir trees here. One about that big and one about that big. I've been saving them for winter firewood. See, the first one's about 20 feet from the cabin, and the other one's about 30 feet from the cabin. So I'll take the camera over and show you anyways. But I've been saving them for winter because they were close. I could cut them down in the middle of winter, chunk them up into firewood, and I could start burning them right off the stump. Well, that didn't quite play out the way I had planned it. The wind, Mother Nature, they decided that maybe they're going to knock that one tree down. So they knocked down the smallest one of the 2. It blew away from the cabin, but it would have hit the cabin any other direction. So I've decided that today, the other tree that's twice the size of the first one, I've decided today I probably ought to knock down that second tree, just because. Maybe the first one was a warning shot over the bow, so I better take care of that second tree, because I definitely wouldn't want it to fall on the cabin. But, so that's my job today. I've already got my dishes done. So dishes are all done, the inside of the cabin's all straightened up. Other than packing the few clothes that I did unpack and packing up my dirties. But outside of that, this cabin's almost ready to shut down for a week, and then I'll be headed up to the Rustic log cabin, and then I'll be back here the week afterwards. There's the cabin. There's the tree that fell down. Goes out right back to where I was just had the camera set up. So the tree I need to take down is right there. It's dead. It's not really in a good angle for me to cut it, so I've been kind of holding off, but I think we're going to have to knock it down. Not much holding that tree up. Look at how rotten it is. Go up 8 or 10 feet from the stump. Should be good firewood. give this place a week to settle down. Like I said, I've been in that tree stand for 3 days, so. But there's deer. I got deer tracks. You go in a circle around this cabin, there's deer tracks everywhere. I got deer tracks walking down my trail, right down to the other hunt shack, the one I've been setting in. All kinds of fresh deer tracks down there. And the best part is it's day and night, so that's really nice. There was, you know, like an hour after dark. I got a doe that's coming in an hour after dark. And she hung out right in front of the camera for the longest time. And the reason she hung out is she was eating the saplings that I cut down for the shooting lanes. So I learned something. I kind of knew it anyways because of other things that I do up at the Rustic log cabin in the wintertime. One is, you know, you cut down a fir tree and it's covered with lichen. The deer come in and they start eating all that lichen. But seeing what they did with the coming in and same thing with setting up game cameras. When I set up game cameras in the wintertime, you know, you'll knock down a sapling so the camera gets a better picture. Sometimes it might be right in front of the camera, because anything that moves right in front of the camera picks up as movement, takes a picture of it. So I try to cut them things down. And when you see the deer in my pictures that are coming right up to the camera, they're not really coming to the camera, they're coming to that sapling that's laying on the ground. So. And I want to do a big shout out right here for Tina and her family. If you look in the comments, she's a part of the Patreon family. One of their dreams is coming true. They have moved to Maine. So congratulations on getting your dream lined up and you pulled the trigger. I couldn't be happier for you, Tina. Great big hug to you and your family. I hope it goes smoothly and enjoy the state of Maine. So, great big shout out for Tina and her family. I just think that's awesome when you can make a dream come true. So, well, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next week. And enjoy your last sip of coffee with me.